Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 26 updates and spoilers. Hope you're ready for a Wednesday. Our house guest of the day is Brady Mathiasen. Brady, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it and could not do this without you. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Brady, check out our Patreon in the description below. We also have down there a link for Paramount Plus if you're still interested in getting the live feeds to watch this season. And if you use our link, it helps us out. So we appreciate that as well. Oh my goodness. So when we left off yesterday, we've got Brooklyn, Cam, and Chelsea up on the block. I can't wait to see tonight's episode, honestly, because I want to see the chaos of that POV ceremony. This season, they've been delivering with the ceremonies, right? So it'll be nice to finally see that play out and hear this grand speech that Tucker made. And like, apparently Brooklyn was clapping back and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully they're going to deliver with tonight's episode. But we know that Brooklyn is Tucker's number one target. He feels like she is the most dangerous member of that trio up on the block because she has influence over a lot of people. But I think like Chelsea is more dangerous because, I mean, just look at like T-Core's undying support for Chelsea. Brooklyn does not have that same stranglehold over T-Core. Does she have it somewhat? Yes, but not like Chelsea does. Also, Brooklyn is kind of isolated right now. Chelsea still has a lot of options of people to work with. That's just my 2 cents. But anyway, if Brooklyn does not win the AI competition, there's a good chance that she is going to be leaving. However, if she does win, Chelsea is Tucker's number 2 target. But I don't know. If it's Chelsea versus Cam up on that block, T-Core is still holding on to her dream of going to the end with Kemo, Rubina, Brooklyn, and Chelsea. Would T-Core try and flip that vote for a second week in a row and send Cam packing instead of one of her beloveds, Chelsea or Brooklyn? She might. She just might. I don't know. I mean, last week we saw she didn't decide that she was on board with the vote flip until Thursday morning. So I already see her talking now. We're going to get into this, trying to figure out if the votes could potentially be there. But we might not know for sure until tomorrow. So we also saw that Kemo, Rubina, and T-Core have been getting super paranoid about Tucker. He's been spending some time with Mackenzie and Leah because those two keep going up to his room to hang out. What is he supposed to do? Be like, get away from me. But they're worried that Tucker made a final 3 with Mackenzie and Leah. To my knowledge, he has not done that yet. He has discussed potentially getting some sort of alliance going with them, Angela, and maybe like Quinn, but it wouldn't be his true alliance. It would just be like to cover his ass and to have influence over them. All right. Rubina also suspects that Tucker has a final 2 with Joseph, which he does. And she asked him point blank about it. We talked about this yesterday, and Tucker lied to her and said no. Ooh, yikes. We're going to see what happens as the paranoia continues to fester, because it does indeed fester. Okay. So Mackenzie and Tucker were having a chat in the HOH room yesterday afternoon. Another Mackenzie and Tucker chat. And Tucker was still rehashing his argument with Brooklyn from the night before. He is telling anyone who will listen about this fight. I think honestly, Tucker is not used to dealing with someone talking to, like, giving him back the same energy that he's putting out there. So he was like really taken aback by it. Sometimes it'd be that way. But he's like, yeah, Brooklyn accused me of bringing in things from outside of the game during the POV ceremony. And he's like, I know that Joseph started the collective, but Brooklyn and Chelsea pushed him out of that, and Brooklyn was running it. I mean, she definitely was like more influential within it than Joseph because she was a part of the Pentagon Alliance, right? But I don't know if she was like running it. Tucker was also talking about how he hasn't trusted Brooklyn since week 2. And he says it all started when Kenny said that Brooklyn was running a girls' alliance. No more Kenny. We're done with Kenny. Stop. Tucker also brings up how Brooklyn cannot hide her emotions on her face. He's like, she was never happy for me when I would win competitions. So the AI arena, the veto, and Brooklyn's excuse was that she's a competitive person. So she was pissed that she didn't win, even the competitions that she wasn't in. But yeah, Tucker, he pays a lot of attention to people's faces, to their body language, right? He talks to no end about how he's an expert in analyzing body language, CIA training. So, yeah, that really resonates with him. And Tucker was also talking about how Quinn was the one who would spill info to him. And he says, Quinn shared info with me that confirmed all of my theories. I also remember Tucker having incorrect information, like about Lisa having a power that was then he found out the truth about a power and he was still like, no, I know Lisa has it. So like his observation skills are not foolproof. But anyway, Tucker brings up Brooklyn and Quinn's final two deal. And he reveals that neither of them actually spilled about that final two to him. He assumed that they had a final two because he shared information with Quinn, and then Quinn went and told Brooklyn that info directly. And it came back to Tucker. So when Tucker was talking to Quinn again, he did a fake out and was like, Brooklyn told me all about your final two, not knowing that they actually do have one. And Quinn confirmed that it was true. Oof. He got duped. He got duped hard. So yeah, Mackenzie did also participate in this conversation. She's talking about how she's a lone wolf in this game. Again, I'm getting Kenny flashbacks. She felt really good about Chelsea and Brooklyn talking to her the last few days because she says, like, people have not really been talking game with me. So just the fact that they were like paying me any attention and saying anything to me, she was ready to ride with them. But now she realizes that they've just been trying to scoop her up because their old alliance blew up and they need numbers now. Yeah. Tucker brings up, Brooklyn and Chelsea, they're good at what they do. He said that Rubina keeps doubting everything after she talks to either Brooklyn or Chelsea. So like those two know what they're doing and they are spreading misinformation throughout the house. So Mackenzie says, I'm going to continue to play naive with Brooklyn and Chelsea so that they think that I'm with them. But she says she's not really. So Tucker tells Mackenzie, you got nothing to worry about. I'm always going to have your back. And Mackenzie's like, cool. But I am a little bit worried that T-Core and Kemo are coming for me because they don't talk to me like at all. I mean, do they talk to anyone other than each other? And Rubina. I mean, Kemo, I feel like talks to more people, but T-Core, I feel like is almost always with Kemo. So Tucker's like, no, I trust my instincts about T-Core and Kemo. I can read their body language and it's all good. Like, you're going to be fine with them. They definitely want her out. But Mackenzie, again, is saying that she's frustrated that no one talks game with her. However, she does have her alliance with God, though. I'm not making fun of her for being religious. I know some people are gonna, why are you making fun of her? She has talked so much in the last 24 hours about how God made her win the AI competition so that he could like influence the game through her and like all this stuff. She's been carrying her Bible around. I just feel like she's really ramped it up. And Mackenzie, Brooklyn, and Chelsea, they're competing in a completely different game than everyone else. It seems like they are competing to be Julie's favorite this season. It's a lot. So anyway, let's move on. In other news, there could be a new Showmance on the horizon. Sort of. Maybe. Chelsea let T-Core know that she and Cam talked about their feelings and they want to talk after the season's over about potentially maybe pursuing a relationship outside of this house. So from what I saw, this conversation that she's talking about between Chelsea and Cam was not on the live feed, so I couldn't go back and watch it. Or if it was not recorded by anybody, but I don't think it was on the feeds at all because I didn't see anybody actually talking about the conversation firsthand. I just saw people talking about her talking about the conversation. So we don't know what was said exactly, but like, does she really want Leah's sloppy seconds? I mean, he made it very obvious that he was into Leah at the beginning of the season. So okay, I don't know. But anyway, Chelsea seems so much lighter now that she knows there could potentially be something there with Cam. So moving on from that, Tucker and Joseph were chatting in the backyard, and Tucker says, I gotta let you know, after Rubina talked to Brooklyn, Rubina is kind of on to you, Joseph. And Joseph's like, as far as what? Tucker says, everything. Us, you. Um, she brought up that you're a super fan on the down low. You're smart. You know this game. And she also asked me if we have a final two. And I said no. He lied. He lied to Rubina. So Tucker says, I don't think it's anything to worry about. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, you might want to adjust some things because a bunch of people are noticing Tucker and Joseph seem to have something going on, and it's definitely going to cause issues. But Joseph agrees. He doesn't think it matters that much. And he's like, if Rubina calls me out on it, I'm just going to tell her the truth because this is not anything game breaking. What? Which part? If she calls you out on having a final two, I think that would be a big deal. And maybe just don't be like, yep, we have one. But I think he means if she calls him out on being a super fan, because then he was like, Quinn is always going to be seen as more of a super fan than me. Like, it's not even a big deal, whatever. So I think that's what he was referring to. Tucker is also like, yeah, I'm still getting all this new information. He says there was an all girls alliance called the Avengers. I don't know if somebody was messing with him or what, because I don't remember ever hearing of that alliance. I also know that Big Brother would not let them use a name like that. Like, they would not be allowed to use the name of a very popular Marvel movie like that. So I don't know if that's just some made up stuff, or maybe it didn't even make it to the point of production being like, you can't call yourselves that. I don't know. But Joseph says at the end of the day, people know I'm loyal and I'm trustworthy. And that's what matters, not the silly little shit. Sir. This is Big Brother. And as a super fan, you should know it's all about the silly little shit. That is what people care about. People are going to rake you over the coals over the smallest little things. So be careful. Tread lightly. But a little later, T-Core and Kemo are chatting on the balcony outside, and Kemo was definitely having an off day yesterday. He was in a funk. He was like, I just can't snap myself out of it. And he was trying to stay away from people because he was just not in a good mood. He wanted time to himself. He only really wants to be around T-Core, Rubina, and Tucker. I mean, what's different? Like, I feel like that's always the case. But he says, I understand, like, everyone has to do their own thing. We can't all just hang out like 24/7. That would be really bad gameplay. So T-Core is suggesting that they all hang out tonight, all four of them. But Tucker has already made it known he wants to go to bed at 10 p.m. on the dot. He doesn't want anybody bothering him in his room. So T-Core's like, you know what? I feel like our group is like the strongest thing in the house right now that the Pentagon is broken up. And she tells Kemo, like, we're all here for you. Like, the group is really supportive. And she says, even though Chelsea is not a part of this group, she cares for you too. T-Core is so obsessed with Chelsea. So T-Core says also when she's HOH, she does not want people hanging out in her HOH room because Tucker's HOH room has been getting a lot of action this week. And I don't mean with him and Rubina, but like that also. But I just mean like people hanging out up there. And T-Core does not want that if she's HOH. And she asks Kemo, like, is that rude? I just want time to myself. She says once it's 11 o'clock, everybody can get out of here, except for like the night before nominations when everyone's trying to do one-on-ones or whatever. I want to know your guys' opinion. Like, what do you think about handling an HOH that way? I feel like I get where she's coming from about wanting to have alone time, but also I don't know that that's going to go over so well. Especially because I feel like she's still going to allow certain people, like her allies and stuff, in the HOH room. And then when other people are turned away, they're going to be pissed. And it's just not going to be a good look. But yeah, that's what she would be planning if she wins HOH. So T-Core asks Kemo, who would you not want to win HOH? And Kemo says, honestly, I feel good with most people. But he says, I don't know where Mackenzie stands in this game. She does not talk game with me. Which is funny because Mackenzie was also like, T-Core and Kemo do not talk game with me. But he feels like Mackenzie would put him up on the block. And T-Core's like, yup. And if Mackenzie does do that, I'd blame Tucker. What a surprise. She will blame anything she can on Tucker. But she figures that Tucker has influence over Mackenzie at this point. So he would be like responsible if Mackenzie were to put Kemo up on the block. So T-Core brings up, if Chelsea wins the AI competition, Chelsea has said that she would want to keep Cam over Brooklyn. Interesting. Okay. So T-Core is asking Kemo, what do you think about that? What are your opinions on that? And Kemo says, well, I've noticed that both Tucker and Joseph have both changed their tune on Cam. They both seem much more positive about him now. Cam has been spending more time in the HOH room. Is he in the HOH room or is he playing bumper pool outside of it? Like, I guess he's been spending more time in there than usual, which was like 0 before. But Cam is still really like not doing anything. But Kemo's trying to imply here, is there something going on? Are they pulling Cam into something that we're not included in? So T-Core says, we need to initiate more game conversations with Cam. We need to find out what's going on there. Because she had heard in the past that Cam wanted to take Tucker out, but she's wondering, like, is he still feeling that way? Has something changed? So they want to find out where he stands. T-Core feels like people in general don't seem to talk about wanting to take out Tucker anymore, or at least they're not saying it. He's HOH this week. I don't think people are going to want to outwardly say, like, I'm going after Tucker when he's the HOH. Like, that doesn't make sense. But she wants to make sure that people are still coming after him because she knows he's going to have to go if anybody else wants to have a chance of winning. T-Core also said, if it is Chelsea versus Cam on the block, she would rather keep Chelsea. We know. She does not want to let Tucker have another potential number in Cam, right? She knows that Chelsea is better for her and Kemo's games. They don't want Cam to just go to Tucker, and that's just another number for him. So later, Chelsea is alone on the hammock. She's talking to the cameras, and she's like, this freaking sucks. She's not ready to go home, and she doesn't like when false narratives are painted and people believe it. I mean, there were some true narratives that were spread this week too about the Pentagon and the collective and all that, but she doesn't want to acknowledge that. So she says, if it's me and Brooklyn on the block, I'm probably going to stay. But the thought of being next to Brooklyn just sucks. And she says, if I'm up against Cam, that also sucks because I would actually have a chance of going home. She feels like in that scenario, she would get votes from T-Core, Kemo, Rubina, Brooklyn, and she figures I would need one more to stay, right? So she's going to be working on that, working the crowd, seeing if she can get another vote together just in case she's up against Cam. But both Brooklyn and Chelsea were hitting the campaign trail yesterday. Brooklyn was making it known that if she stays and wins HOH, she would target Tucker. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, right? She also was saying she would put Joseph up next to Tucker. We know that Brooklyn is pissed at Joseph. She's been trying to throw him under the bus because she's like, Joseph started the collective and then he turned on us and voted against us last week. So yeah, it's no secret that she wants Tucker and Joseph up there. Now, Chelsea was telling Kemo if she were to stay and win HOH, she would play it safe and she would put up people who haven't been nominated yet. So the only people that have not gone up on the block so far are Leah, Joseph, and T-Core. So she says she would put up Leah and Joseph. They can fight it out, whatever. She says, however, she would not put T-Core up on the block, not even as a renom. She says, I made a promise to her week 1. Okay, so she actually is showing a bit of loyalty to T-Core, but I still don't think it's on the same level that T-Core is extending to Chelsea. I think T-Core's loyalty to Chelsea is like it's a blind loyalty, right? It's over the top. Like it's too much. It's too much. It's undeserved, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Chelsea would definitely backdoor Tucker, right? And she's not saying this here, but like, sure would definitely do it, right? How could she not? So Mackenzie was also making the rounds for some reason. She's not on the block, but she was checking in with everyone, being like, I'm a lone wolf. I have no information to share. No one talks game with me. Can we start an alliance? But like nobody was really starting anything. It was just a lot. Leah was also going around. She's a lot. This whole week for Leah has been like, I heard that people are making fun of me or talking about me behind my back. And she's like, I never do that. I never talk bad about anybody. What? She's one of the biggest crap talkers in there. So she's had a lot to say about that this week. She's making a big splash when, like, again, she's not on the block either. But anyway. Cam, however, is not really campaigning. And he is on the block. I don't know if he just feels that comfortable or if he doesn't realize that he needs to be campaigning, like he's not familiar enough with the show. I don't know, but he's really not doing much. So late last night, around 1:30 a.m. Big Brother time, T-Core wakes Kemo up for game talk. Oh my God. Kemo is a have-not. He needs his sleep and he's trying to break out of a funk. But you wake him up at 1:30 to talk. So to make matters even worse, T-Core, Kemo, and Rubina, they were all going to chat together. But Mackenzie was still awake and she was unknowingly talk blocking them. She didn't even realize that they were trying to talk without her. So T-Core was pretty much tasked with keeping Mackenzie occupied while Kemo and Rubina were chatting. So, right? Because like it's easier for T-Core and Kemo to catch each other up on what was discussed with Rubina because those two are always together. So anyway, Kemo and Rubina, they were mostly chatting again about their paranoia, about Tucker and Joseph working together. Do they have a final two? What's the deal? They feel like Joseph is dangerous. And they say if they get the opportunity to take him out at some point, they might have to go for it. They don't want anyone coming between them and their man. Rubina wants to ask Tucker more about what's going on with Joseph. She plans to ask him straight up again if he has a final two with Joseph. And she wants to do this while they're cuddling, like specifically while they're cuddling, because she's like, I want to ask him when he's all vulnerable and I want to see what his reaction is. And if he like breaks eye contact with me or anything like that, I'm going to know that he's lying. I feel like Tucker's not going to like that because he's already had his suspicions in the past that Rubina was just like flirting with him to get closer to him in the game. So I think that's one of those things that Tucker would be like, I don't like this. And that's just going to push him further into Joseph's arms. But at this point, it just feels like they're all fighting for Tucker's affection. Like they all want to be the closest person to Tucker. It's a lot. At the same time, Quinn was monologuing to the cameras in another room, and he acknowledges, whoa, Joseph is basically playing the game that I wanted to play, but better. He's doing a way better job at it. Also, he's got Tucker now. He took him away from me. He has Leah now. Leah's way closer to Joseph now than she is to Quinn. And he knows, of course, that Joseph and Tucker are close. Everybody's figuring that out. So he's like, if I take Tucker out, I can have Joseph all to myself. So he is still planning on targeting Tucker, but we knew that was going to happen, right? There was no way he was actually going to be like, oh, Tucker saved me this week, so I'm going to be cool with him. No way. But yeah, Joseph was the talk of the town last night. So Kemo and T-Core touched base again before going to bed early this morning. And they were kind of agreeing if it's Cam versus Chelsea up on the block, they want to keep Chelsea because they acknowledge she is much better for their games than Cam. They don't really have much going on with Cam. Chelsea, they feel like they can work with, and she's going to be closer to them than she's going to be to Tucker. So I'm not sure yet, or they're not sure yet either, if they'd be able to get the votes, but they want to kind of like put feelers out there and figure out if it is possible for them. So we'll see what happens with that. Today, not a ton happening so far. Kemo again is worried about where he stands with Tucker because Tucker hasn't been initiating as many conversations with Kemo as he was before. Oh boy. I just freaking knew that's why he was in this funk. He even admitted to Quinn at one point, like, I feel not great because I'm realizing that there's so much other stuff going on in this house that like I didn't know about. He's worried that other people are closer to Tucker than he is. Yeah. Another thing that's happening right now. Oh my God. So apparently, Brooklyn went to high school with Joseph's brother. I don't know when she made this connection or what. I don't know when exactly this conversation was had, but everybody's been talking about it today. This I haven't seen this pop up like somebody recorded it. I haven't seen a recording of it pop up anywhere. But apparently she told Joseph that she went to high school with his brother and they were like really good friends, blah blah blah. So I don't know if she's just like saying this to make him want to vote to keep her because Joseph's brother went on social media today and he was like, okay, yes, Brooklyn went to the same high school as me. He posted a picture of her from the yearbook, but he was like, I didn't even know who she was. Like, I didn't know her at all. They did not run in the same circle of friends. Like, they were not close. So it definitely seems like maybe she's trying to play things up here a bit to get closer to Joseph and maybe lock down a vote. It's wild. But yeah, Joseph's brother is saying they were not close, but they did go to the same high school. So that's pretty interesting. It definitely gives me those BB Can vibes of like these weird ways that people are connected because I feel like we saw that a lot in Canada. But anyway, that's something that's happening now. The eviction is tomorrow. Also, I feel like Joseph would not give a shit if Brooklyn knew his brother in real life. I don't think he cares about that. But the eviction is tomorrow. Chelsea versus Brooklyn versus Cam. They are going to compete in the AI arena. One of them will be coming off the block. And honestly, anything can happen. Anyone can win that comp. The evictions, like, are not set in stone with the different matchups. Like, it seems like Brooklyn would go home against Chelsea for sure. Probably against Cam, but I'm not 100% sure on that because, T-Court is still holding on to that dream to work with Brooklyn and Chelsea. If it's Chelsea versus Cam, again, T-Court is wanting to keep Chelsea. I think she would be more likely to get the votes to keep Chelsea against Cam than she would to keep Brooklyn against Cam. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Also, just a heads up, the voting is closing soon for the AI instigator. So that power should be coming into play next week, which will be interesting as well. But anyway, I want to thank all of you for being here. And a special thanks to all of our super chatters. So let's see who we got. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. Jefferson says, we Tuckers know how to keep things nutty. Tucker has really been delivering the entertainment this season, that's for sure. Arlene Bulansky, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Angela H. Ange H plays, thank you. And Angela says, this season just keeps getting better and better. Thanks for all your hard work on the updates. Oh, thank you so much for watching. Susan Pengley, thank you so much. Shout out to Canada. True Teddy, thank you for the super chat. And True Teddy says, T-Core frustrating the life out of me. She needs to go out ASAP. Poor gameplay mixed with lack of knowledge of the game. I mean, for me, it's not even like lack of knowledge of the game. I just feel like she's putting so much more energy into people that are not giving her the same thing back. And it's just frustrating to watch, like you said. But I'm hoping she can like turn it around. We'll see what happens. I feel like she just has this picture of like how she wants this game to go, though, and she doesn't want to stray from that. Yeah. PNG, thank you so much for the super chat. PNG says you've been doing this since 2007. That is insane. It is insane. I have been covering this show. I've been watching the show since season 1, but we've been covering it since season 8. And I realized the other day that I have been covering this show for longer than I haven't been. So that's a lot. But I'm really glad that you guys have stuck with us, or whoever has stuck with us. We really appreciate it. But yeah, I did not realize I was still going to be doing this in 2024. Sean Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. Sean asks, how many recruits are there this season? I don't know. I feel like a lot. It feels like more this season than like ever before. It seems like a ton. Um, I know Matt, Cedric, and Lisa confirmed. Yeah, it's irritating that I got cut in sequester and people don't know the game. Oh my goodness, you made it all the way to like finals. That's awesome. Hopefully we'll get to see you on the show, maybe even like next season. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I know it's frustrating, right? When people are just like plucked out of the clubs or whatever, and people that actually know and love the game are passed over. I know. My heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry for that. Shane Wright, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it as always. Teresa Sousa, thank you so much. David Cushmore, thank you for the super chat. David says, sing the song No Sleep Till Brooklyn, the hit song from the Beastie Boys. Sing her name. Do I have to? No. But thank you so much. I wonder if like she listens to that song a lot. You know when you have a name that's like in a song? Is that like your favorite song? I don't know. Dumb. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. We will be back tonight to talk about the episode. So we'll see you then. And until later, much love. Bye everybody.